my gosh, I'm so excited to have you guys here. Tracy and I have been talking about this podcast, and just having you here. And,
Yes.
Michael, it means the world to be in physical space, right? We have been in, anyways.
Long time.
Anyways. Well, let's get started. Tracy, I know, how are you feeling over there, man? What a day we've had.
It's just getting started.
Just getting started.
So we ran into Michael this morning as he was coming in.
Yeah.
And all I saw the shirt it said DCF, and I was thinking that it was one of our DCF folks. And I said, we're getting it, it's coming, and it was like, I'm registering it. Well, it's okay, it's fine, it's print. And then he was like, I know this guy. We've been waiting on this guy. I know, I'm really excited to see this guy. This guy is again, and we're here with Pastor Dan. I was like, yes. So I'm really excited to have you guys here to tell us about the things you're doing, some of the impact of it, and I love the intersection and the alignment of faith, community, and the natural supports, and what it's done. Just some of the great work you guys are doing.
Yeah. It's been really transformational. It's been just amazing. It's been I tell people I'm having so much fun working for Child Welfare Services now.
Say that again, Michael.
I know,
so
right?
much fun working for Child Welfare Services now.
I feel like it's a dream.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
I think a part of it is your leadership, man. Staying in the storm for as long as you have, and staying committed to the passion. So let's begin. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Tell us where you're joining us from. Mr. Dan, why don't we start with you?
Great. Well, first, thanks for having me. Thanks for putting this conference on and all the stuff you guys are doing. And so I used to be a social worker with child welfare for a number of years, kind of straight out of school.
Yeah.
And then a number of years ago, switched to kind of work as a pastor, kind of the faith world of church. And so now in my community, I feel like I'm a translator between the social service and mental health world, because I'm a therapist also.
Yeah.
And the
way to just drop all these in here, man. What haven't you done?
So it's
awesome.
a translator between literally these worlds that often don't really talk very much.
Yeah.
There's just needs everywhere, and there's some things that actually, like the faith world and churches and child welfare, can actually agree on.
Yes.
Like we want less abuse in our towns. We want families to work together and less kids in the system. And so it's a joy to do some of this stuff. And thanks just for having me. I'm just excited about what's happening.
Well, and maybe as a byproduct of that relationship, we allow the other folks in the professional systems to do the good work that they need to do, because the community's doing the work that we know how to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so loved working with this guy, Dr. Rauso, Dr. Michael Rauso, right? And his willingness to go outside the box for the greater good of the community. He's been willing to do that, a lot of different ways.
Let's go. I'm sure we're gonna hear some more examples about some of your guys' partnership along the way. Michael, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe tell a fun fact about my buddy? Maybe here we started. We go way back, but we did a training together one time in a probation facility at a juvenile hall where they you walk in through the metal detector and all the things. And we talked to them that day about what's it going to take to get the kids out of here. What's it going to take to support the families and the voice. And so anyways, thanks for being here. Tell us a little about who you are.
Way back. Oh my gosh. So I've been in the rap world for about 26 years now. More recently, I've been with LA County Child Welfare for 22 years, just past 22 years. It's so weird. I mean, I started
LA County Child Welfare 22 years. So this is all very important details.
Yeah. 22 years. Now I'm in the Santa Clarita office, which is one of 19 regional offices in LA County, and I'm loving it. I just can't even tell you guys how much it's been a blessing to have this opportunity. And then obviously Pastor Dan has been it's been an amazing partnership, and just kind of like what you were saying earlier, he's almost like our force field around child welfare, and it really talks to the power of the community and how the community really, if you work with them and they work with you, it's amazing how it can be a great partnership.
It's force field. I really like that, right? It's protection from, and it's thriving, and it's resilience, and it's all the things that we can do in community that we can't do in systems.
And we can't do it alone.
Right.
And I think child welfare, for the longest time, for whatever reason, well, we know the reasons, but they tried to go at it alone, and it clearly doesn't work. Yeah. And so this partnership has shown, I mean, our statistics are off the chart. And it shows that the power of the community is where we really need to invest a lot of our time.
Yeah, let's get into it. Like,
Sure.
tell me about like building partnerships in siloed systems. Let's talk a little bit about some of the risks that it takes on both sides. Really anything you want to share.
Sure. Well, yeah, I'll just say, there's this history of really these two worlds living in in the same town together, but not really ever doing partnership.
Yeah.
And even before social services, the faith world, church world was doing some of that stuff. And then, social service comes in, and I think there's this divide.
Yep.
Right.
Like I said, like the old school, like other side of the railroad tracks
Yeah.
has been the case. And so, how can we come together for the greater good? Because there's so many needs, no matter what town you're in, no matter what community, our community, their community. There's just a lot of needs, and so we've been talking now for like 4 or 5 years, and how do we kind of bridge this gap of really supporting families and actually doing some of the prevention work, and providing resources before like even a phone call goes to the hotline.
Yes.
Like even before that, how do we help? And so one of the things that Michael's been great at is willing to consider outside the box for the greater good.
Yeah.
It's just not a job or the status quo to go, how do we go outside the box? Because some of the stuff in LA County that's been tried for years hasn't been working great. Hasn't been really been working great. So how do we think differently and really help these families in need?
Mm-hmm.
You made me think about like the big push right now on not just mandated reporting, but really the most important part, which is mandated supporting, and what it means to create pathways of community healing that can offset any threat, harm, or danger. And it seems like it's really a simple, like, duh, like,
Of course.
yeah, but in reality, it requires some relationship, some capital, some trust, right? And a willingness to actually kind of step across the line and be like, we're going to, my guess is some of the same staff that work in the agency, right, the department, may also go to some of those same churches, right?
Yep.
And may also be Monday through Friday social worker, case manager, behavioral health specialist, but on the weekends they're deacons and they're pastors and they're running groups.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's this whole idea of like church and state, and what does that mean for some people, and there is just high levels of suspicion on both sides, and I have to admit, all the COVID stuff didn't help.
Yeah.
Well, what a church goes, oh, how much do we trust the government?
Correct. Yeah.
It's pretty suspicious. And honestly,
Inverse,
there's some really interesting
background
churches out there that you see stuff on YouTube and you're like,
Right.
wow, that's some odd stuff out there.
Right.
Why in the world we, meaning like a social worker or a therapist, would work with a church after seeing that? And so the suspicion is so high. So it really takes some intentionality and relationship building to help kind of bridge those gaps.
Yeah, breaking bread.
Yeah, literally.
And it helps that he was a former emergency response worker, which allowed our conversations to really center around working DCFS out of a job.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we bonded, in the sense that we both understood what child welfare meant to the community and how much it impacted the community. And then having relationships with the schools, we really were able to impart on them the importance of working together, and that prevention is really where it's at.
Yeah.
So if you look at our statistics have really changed dramatically since the beginning of COVID. And a lot of it has to do with what Pastor Dan has been able to do with not only the other churches, but also the schools. And the schools now see us as a partner rather than
phone call.
Kind of like how, yeah, exactly right. So a lot of the prevention work has really paid off.
So why don't you share some of the stats that you've seen in your office? I think they're actually so remarkable.
I agree.
So remarkable.
So again, I'm one of 19 regional offices in LA County. And when I first started there, we had over 1,300 kids in the Santa Clarita office in our care. And what we were able to do over time is reduce that whole census by 65%. So we've been able to prevent children from lingering in the system longer. So we have these federal measures that we are responsible to report on. And so what we've been able to find is our permanency measures, how quickly we get children back to the community, back to permanency out of our system. has been a remarkable transformation. So if you look at our charts are all streaming up. And what that's meant for our social workers is that we have an average caseload of 8. So in child welfare, that's unheard of. So we just did a presentation, and wherever we go around the country, we talk about our caseloads, and people look at us like, that's not correct. Yeah.
And in the great, I joke about great state of LA, right?
Right.
This is
Correct.
a highly populated
Yes.
area.
Correct. So our social workers, and again, all of the credit really goes to the staff. The staff have been phenomenal, and just the care and the love that they show our families is really paid dividends, because now our families have that trust that they never did before. So by putting a lot of our attention on the prevention, those children that have been in our care are now getting even more support. And so our timelines to permanency have been ramped up to a way that we are working ourselves out of a job. So some of our managers have said, "Oh my God, if we keep going lower, what's going to happen?" What's going to happen is we're going to have an amazing community understanding. So really spending a lot of time. But the biggest stat of all of this is, yes, having caseloads of 8 is great. We have no children in residential.
Say it again, Michael.
Yeah.
No kids in residential.
So we have no children in residential, and we haven't had a child in residential for the last 10 months.
Say it again.
Yeah.
10 months.
10
Great.
months. 10 months. So I'm nervous because obviously that's not a statistic that's always going to remain, and it's not supposed to remain.
Right.
But because of what we're doing with Pastor Dan, what we're doing with the community, what we're doing with our families and our social workers doing the amazing work that they're doing, we don't have children lingering in our system anymore. We have children that are families that are getting what it is that they need when they need it, rather than when they qualify for it, or maybe how we used to do it. Exactly. So it's been I kind of joke it's a renaissance, right? We're seeing DCFS go through this massive transformation, and our Child Protective Hotline that has done also amazing work. And you mentioned going from mandated reporter to mandated supporter. All of it in combination is really, and then the work with the school districts. It's been, I'm having the most fun I've ever had in child welfare. It's been great.
It's almost like we're getting to experience the fruit of all the gardening and the labor of all the collaboration and all the seeds being planted over the years. Tracy, I know you had some thoughts over there. What were you thinking?
No, I'm just, I'm appreciating all the alignment, right, coming together. Like what I would think about is like with Wraparoud, true Wraparound. I've been like really getting in, and I love the part about community too, like getting back to that, because the thing I always think about with any implementation or anything is that our families don't live in isolation. They live in these communities,
right?
And we want our communities, like you just said, to be better. Our community is better. Our kids and our families are better because they are receiving this support and partnership. We're all partnering together for this betterment, because these are our neighbors. I might run into these families at the market. I might run into them, at church or everywhere. So how do we come together to be supportive? And if I don't know, this is where I can learn about those things, right? Because I might have thought it was the job of a social worker.
Right.
I might have thought it was a job of
therapist.
Right. So what can I do? And this is how the education, the partnerships, and kind of coming together. And I'm loving this dynamic of what it has done for you guys and what you're doing. And I think it's great. And I want to go back to something Jared said earlier, Michael. It's this top down of leadership and being allowed to be able to do this work. That takes support at a leadership level, and it sounds like you're doing that and seeing that with what you're doing there. And if it, for me, I would certainly be appreciative of that, because now I feel like I can do the job that I wanted to do, that I signed up to do. Right? I'm having at liberty to really be able to do and connect, to be kind of authentic, and it's not, well, this is what I have to do, but this is what I want to do. They're kind of aligning, right? And so it's the fruit of that too. It sounds
they're able to do, like my social workers will say, I'm actually now able to do what I went to school to do.
Right.
What I originally envisioned getting into this field, I'm able to do. And so it's probably not a shock to either one of you, is that everything that I'm doing from a leadership standpoint is really embedding the wraparound principles within the DCFS office. So I'm doing wraparound with my own staff and my leadership team, as we're doing with the family. So it's a lot of fun. So we talk about really doing a lot of creative stuff with the staff and with the family. So it's really strength based. So we spend a lot of time talking about strength based interventions, obviously based on the needs and so.
How are you guys celebrating this great work together and like the partnerships? Because, a part of this is like Tracy said earlier, a lot of people think, oh, that's their job, right? Oh, versus owning that this is like, that's my neighbor, this is my community, and you guys are doing that. I'm wondering, how do you guys celebrate these moments now of collaboration and partnership? And maybe you don't have that answer. I don't know.
Well, so every month we do something called Shining Stars. So we spend a specific time in our agenda highlighting staff doing wonderful work. So there's a lot of positive reinforcement. We also have something in our office. It's called the Tree of Hope, and whenever a family reunifies, we have the social worker present in front of the staff about what they did. So they have a picture of the family. They talk about what the course of what they did, and then they put a leaf on the tree representing a kid. And I can send you a picture of it later. And it's just really, really cool because I think it also is now a physical manifestation because everybody talks about stats, but when you see your child initial on a tree, it really, so we spend a lot of time celebrating and talking about family. So we also talk about like what we're doing differently. So we talk about getting kids into karate and doing different
Baseball,
music,
creative,
baseball. So we're really now more proactive in our social work rather than reactive, which has historically been a child welfare experience.
How's the community feeling in all this?
It's great. It's actually helping build more trust within the community as a whole. So one of the things that has happened in the past is, let's say a school administrator or teacher makes that report to social services because they're worried about, the kid will the same clothes to school.
Poverty issues.
Yeah,
too,
more
right?
poverty issues, not, I would say, abuse issues.
Right.
What happens to that relationship between that parent and that school now after that report is made?
Right.
It's
Right.
typically shot. It's
Yes,
done.
correct.
It is done.
Yeah.
It's done.
It feels like they're fighting the system.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, they're not on the same square looking at the problem.
Correct.
At all. Now what happens is that we set up a program called Family Stress Support. So I have 8 case managers that actually are with the church. And so now what happens is that school counselor, that school social worker will talk to the family or the parents and go, hey, we have this program. It's not government based. It's completely voluntary. That can help you with your needs. Are you interested? And they don't have red tape.
Mm-hmm.
It's
community based.
Yeah, it's community based, right? So if they say yes, the school counselor or whoever goes on our website, fills out a really short thing, and goes to me, and I assign a case manager who will literally hold their hand for many months with whatever need they have. Yeah. Literally, we can deliver food to their house.
Sure.
We'll call mental health place on their behalf. We'll even sometimes pay their bills.
And they've got other people too.
And now there's there's a greater net now supporting them. Uh-huh. And now, because that phone call wasn't made to DCFS, there's still trust now in the community instead of they isolate more because they're so distrustful about what's
investigation, policing,
and the trauma separation. Of that time. So we're getting families literally almost every day. And then the other thing is what happens sometimes is someone from Michael's staff will go out on a child abuse investigation, but a high percentage of the time there's just issues. There's not always child abuse. Right. There's just challenges, mental health, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And now you get permission from the family. It's say, hey, can we refer it once we're getting ready to close out that family for the referral because there's not abuse here. You get permission from the parents. They say yes, and then now the social worker actually sends us the family, and we will literally hold their hand for months on end.
It's community wraparound,
right?
It's
And then what happens is there's not a second referral that comes in 6-12 months later.
They don't come.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah. And the family likes us because we connected them.
Well, that's something I wanted to make sure we talked about. Yeah. And I want to make sure you get your moment to finish it. Yeah.
No, and so it's honestly really a joy to see like we are truly preventing kids from in the system, really helping kids stay within their community. Because when a kid gets taken out of the community and actually then placed in another whole city, like in our area, there's not a lot of homes, foster homes.
Yeah.
So they might go 40 miles away, new school, new community, new neighborhood, and that's brutal.
Yeah, and we lose that asset.
Yeah.
The youth are our strengths. How Ken say it on our last podcast? He said it great. He was talking about really trying to what would you do if I told you right here, asset and resource? Would you send it to another place and just let it go? No, you wouldn't. We want that right here.
Yeah, yeah. And so there's like almost greater trust being built within the community to go like, how do we like take care of our own?
Yeah.
Ownership. And it's really just a joy to see all of it come together.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, what they've done is just remarkable. And my staff will tell you they have now a different approach when it comes to families because they know the community is with us. The community is leading us. And so we as child welfare, obviously safety is job number one. But if just like you were saying, historically, we may have taken a child in because they were having problems in the home and we wanted to prevent the family from getting any worse. But now that we have Pastor Dan's Family Stress Network, we know we don't have to do that. So we have the ability to just say, let's refer to Pastor Dan. And again, we now have time that shows if we refer to Pastor Dan, they're not coming back to us.
Yeah, right.
They're not coming back to us.
Great.
So it's working. And
all of it's working. It sounds like every little piece is doing their part.
It is
right because we know in the systems to be able to get them to take that step and allow us to do that. Yep. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's kind of something I wanted to talk about. You talk about the shift in the atmosphere for the staff. And these are people that, got in just like probably all of us did, right? Because they want to make a difference or give back. And then, maybe they discovered that it's harder to do that, right? But now it sounds like you guys are living in it. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like you're up to your ears in like great not just outcomes, but like qualitative and quantitative proof that if we work and lean into these principles, it works. Talk to me a little bit about what you mentioned, how they're happy and people are feeling good. How do you see, you mentioned the threat of us running out of a job because we're negatively reinforced to keep the beds filled, right? We're negatively reinforced to kind of look at it that way. And as the population census dwindles, right? And maybe even might reach a point of some point where there might not be anyone. Obviously, there's still going to be community building and work and child protection that need to be done. What do you think other opportunities and what the social workers might be able to do now because they're not distracted by all of the emergency response? What are they going to be able to do to build and support that prevention? And also, like, they might stick around for more than 2 or 3 years. So imagine what we can build 5, 6 years from now. Any thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, we don't have staff leaving. I mean, now they get promotions, and I'm happy and I love it when they get promotions. But we don't have staff leaving us. So historically, I've had staff go out on long-term medical leave because the job's too stressful, or they quit child welfare altogether because it's so stressful.
Right.
That's not happening. We have people really excited, and one of the other things that I've said to the staff is now that our caseloads are so low, we're able to do things that we've never done before. So is there something when you were first becoming interested in this field, what was your motivation? What was your thing that was really an interest to you? Because now you can do your job, but then we can also have you focus on something. So some staff will say, well, homelessness was or domestic violence. So staff are now starting to create specialties for themselves and are able to express themselves in ways they were never able to do before. And it's been such a great experience. I mean, again, I can't say enough about the staff. They're just amazing because it's them who really make it fly. I call them my secret sauce.
Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah. Well, and it's the youth and families and community members, right? Because we're just kind of the platform, and then they take it. Right. This has just been wonderful. I'm wondering what else. We got you all the way out here in Florida. What else do you want to just say on the mic, Dan, Michael? What do you guys think? What else do you want to share with the world?
Our hope and dream is that this can be taken to other places.
Yeah.
If these numbers can happen in LA County, they can happen in other places.
Anywhere.
Right? Because the red tape in LA County and all this stuff, if it can happen there, it can happen really anywhere. And so to bridge that gap can happen, and it's really for the greater good. And so we're hoping actually we can just pass this along to other places.
Yeah.
We're hoping other counties right now. We're meeting with somebody next week. And so we actually hope we can just kind of bring this message because kids don't do well when they live in the foster care world for for years.
It doesn't
We all know
translate.
that.
Even if
Yep.
they come home,
Even
it
if-
doesn't translate.
Yeah, it's really rough, and I get the need for at times for that for safety, but our hope is just to keep passing this along, and within every community is a social welfare system and our churches that actually could collaborate better for the greater good.
Yeah.
But I think they have a hard time figuring out how to do that.
I think for me, in addition, absolutely, I want to see this go everywhere. But I think the other part of it is this process has really highlighted that families are amazing. There's so many strengths if when supported and when provided with a teamwork approach, families thrive. The children
When their
thrive
voices are heard.
when their voices are heard. I mean, it's just amazing what we've been able to see, and now the families really are driving us, and that's what obviously is what's making a lot of this work. Is the families are telling us what it is, and they feel comfortable and supported enough to be able to voice that. So it's been really great.
Well, yeah, and imagine the alumni, right? And like, it literally, we talk about getting T-shirts and having regular alumni monthly meetings, and then them becoming the new churches, and they take in the new youth and families and expedite that timeline even faster. Why? Because they've been there, right? I literally was here, 2 years ago in that same building. We're gonna get you right out of here. Follow me, right? And that's that community. Tracy, this has been wonderful.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Tracy's a.
And this is great. I mean, it really is taking me back to what we started with care,
Yes.
cares and reducing the census by,
Youth
50%, doing all of that. It's the same work, partnering with our faith. So I'm super excited about what you guys are doing. I love this partnership that you have with your churches, and I do believe it can be taken other places because we've seen it. We know it works too. So
Yeah.
thank you guys so much for coming out here.
Thank you.
Sharing this with us. This has been just really wonderful, and continue the great work that you guys are doing there. And I hope I can go to you all and see some of this when we're over that way. We have some folks that we do work with in Southern California. Is that the same?
Yes, San
Different?
Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, San Diego.
All right.
A
So.
little further.
Yeah.
A little further. It's close
Yeah.
enough. It's like only one state away.
That's right.
Yeah, I have to watch out for the earthquake.
He doesn't like when the rocks move.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We
Well,
don't
almost
blame him.
got me the
Control
last
that.
time I was there.
Yeah, it was a little 2 point nothing.
Stop it.
Anyway.
It almost got me. Tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I appreciate we highlighted the relationship between child welfare and the church. But I also just want to kind of, as we close out, think about things like in your communities, your schools do child abuse prevention and support, your Kiwanis, your Chamber of Commerce, your local, all of them, right? Your fraternities, your sororities, they all have, even if it's 5, 10, 20% of community offering. And if we organize it, we open the doors. I joke about it, it's like we bring the food trucks in and we have everybody kind of get together. Imagine if we all put in our 5%, and now we create that thriving community that, yes, we don't need, as much child welfare protection anymore, but now they're getting to do child thriving and family building and all of that. So this has just been great. And I want to highlight that this is one example, like you said, there are many communities of which we have to pull in, because you can't do wraparound or even a wraparound informed practice alone in silo in your office. It has to be done hand in hand in partnership. And
Absolutely.
man,
I
appreciate
celebrate what
this.
you guys are doing. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Thank you
so
for
much.
being here. We love it. We do a little clap
you.
out on the end. Thank you so much. Let's go.